Hey, it's Jay, and welcome to my review of Aladdin 2019. Now, this movie does a good job of capturing the magic of the original, but it doesn't really do much else. But before I get to my opinions, let's go over the plot. The film opens up with a human Will Smith on a ship talking to his kids about the story of Aladdin. It's a very cool transition into the first song of the musical Arabian Nights. This shows a pan over of Agrabah, and it also shows Jafar trying to find a candidate to go fetch him the lamp in the Cave of Wonders, and the Cave of Wonders describes that one person as a diamond in the rough. It then cuts to Agrabah, and we see Aladdin, the street rat, stealing food to eat because, as he says in the song, gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat, so that's what he's doing. He then befriends Jasmine, who is putting on a persona of a peasant to get out of her trapped life in the palace because her father, the Sultan, keeps her locked away in a tower out of fear of losing her because he recently lost his wife. So Aladdin, played by Mina Massoud, saves her after she steals a loaf of bread to give to some starving children. And then Jasmine, played by Naomi Scott, they run through the street to escape. And that's when the song One Jump happens. And Jasmine does some pretty crazy things that she never would have done if she had been secluded to the palace. After a misunderstanding, Aladdin goes to return his Jasmine's mother's bracelet to her that Abu stole from her when they were in the process of escaping, the authorities. And Jafar takes note of how gracefully and sneakily Aladdin sneaks into the palace and determines that he is the diamond in the rough. So later on in the day, Aladdin is captured by some of Jafar's guards, and Jafar is played by Marwan Kanzari, and they take him to the Cave of Wonders. Jafar, by the way, is the vizier to the Sultan. And he goes in to retrieve the lamp. But there's one rule. You can only take the lamp. You cannot take any other treasure, or you will not be able to escape the cave. Abu, being the greedy monkey he is, takes a diamond, which triggers this massive explosion and lava to start pouring into the cave, and almost traps Abu and Aladdin down there because Aladdin grabs the lamp, and they also free the magic carpet, and they go flying out. And when Aladdin just barely makes it, Jafar betrays him by kicking him right back into the cave, and Abu, in the scrap in the rumble, steals the lamp back. So now they have the ability to unleash the genie, played by Will Smith. I'm going to get to that later on after the plot. So they wish to leave the cave, but Aladdin, being the sneaky guy he is, just wished that they got saved, got out of the cave. You're supposed to rub the lamp when you make a wish, and that makes it official. So he technically made an unofficial wish. So for his first official wish, he wishes to become a prince. I completely forgot to mention, whack down in the cave, that's when A Friend Like Me, that's the big genie's big number, comes on. And so Aladdin becomes a prince, and he wishes for an entourage, and the genie just makes him, decks him out with prince garb and entourage, like I said, elephants, animals, dancers, fire twirlers, pretty women, just everything to accompany him into the palace of Agrabah, and he dubs himself Prince Ali of Ababwa, which is of course a place that doesn't exist. And that's when the song Prince Ali comes. Now, Aladdin felt that the flashy and crazy and extravagant, over-the-top entrance was going to impress Jasmine, but it actually ends up, not impressing her because Jasmine's not a woman of material. She wants just a real prince, not this, big extravagant, wow. Earlier on in the film, Prince Anders, played by Billy Magnuson, comes to impress her, and she's just not impressed because he's trying too hard to be, grandiose instead of just being himself. And that's what she's really looking for in the qualities of a good mate. So Instantly, everybody's suspicious of this guy because, like I said, a Babla doesn't exist. And, yeah, this guy just kind of shows up out of nowhere and no one knew that this, prince existed. This just seems kind of weird. At the party that night, Aladdin doesn't know how to dance, and the genie kind of manipulates him with his fingers to do the dance moves. And he goes a little too hard and, again, turns Jasmine away from wanting to get to know Prince Ali more. He goes to apologize, which then leads to them bonding over a trip on a magic carpet ride, which brings us to the most popular song from Aladdin, A Whole New World, which is beautifully done, by the way. It's gorgeous. I love the cinematography of them just soaring through Agrabah and all the other kingdoms. It's really something special. However, Aladdin, being foolish and saying some phrases he literally said to Jasmine as Aladdin before he became Prince Ali, like, "Do you trust me?" Gives away that that's Aladdin, and she figures it out. But to make sure that he still keeps up the charade of being a prince so he can, still be with Jasmine, because he's under the assumption that she will never love him if he's not a prince, he's like, no, I dressed up as a peasant to get out of royal life, just like you did, because that's how I met you. You were dressed up as a peasant as well because you wanted to escape the royal, frenzy that you live every day. There's also a sub-story which I felt wasn't really necessary, with the genie falling for Jasmine's handmaiden, Dahlia, played by Nasim Pedrad. I felt it wasn't really necessary, but their chemistry is kind of cute. So, while I felt it was unnecessary, I didn't really have that big of an issue with it because, like I said, they were adorable. They were really, really cute together. However, Iago, played by Alan Tudyk, is spying on Aladdin as he's flying back from the magic carpet ride, and it's discovered that Aladdin is the Aladdin that Jafar thought died in the cave. So Jafar exposes Aladdin and is like, "I'm going to push you off this cliff now. If you die, then you're not who I think you are. If you're saved, then you are who I think you are." Did I say that right? Yes, I did. So he ends up in the water, and the genie had to sacrifice Aladdin's second wish to save his life. Aladdin also, by the way, promised Genie that his third wish was going to be to release him from the chains that he's bound to as a genie. Because, as you know, genies are never free unless they have a master. They always have a master, I should say. So they're never free. But after that, they were able to call Jafar out on all his bluffs. Aladdin destroys his snake scepter that he uses to control the Sultan, and then Jafar gets locked away. As he's, everyone's celebrating, and the Sultan, which, by the way, the Sultan is played by Naveed Nagaban. Dang it, hang on. Sorry, my light's freaking out right now. What was I saying? Right. So as he's offering position of heir to the throne after the Sultan, Iago swipes the key and releases Jafar, which doesn't end well because earlier when Jafar was bringing Aladdin to the Cave of Wonders, he was saying how he used to be a thief as well, and he uses some thief moves to, quickly swipe the lamp. This isn't very good because, it's Jafar. Later on, as Genie is his new slave and, the Genie is now under ownership of Jafar, Jafar then wishes that he was Sultan and then wishes that he was the most powerful sorcerer in the world. And then he then banishes Aladdin to some frozen wasteland after revealing that he's just, a street rat, Aladdin, that he lied the whole time. However, the magic carpet gets the attention of Genie, and he quickly wishes the magic carpet over to where Aladdin and Abu are. Which, fun fact, I forgot to mention, Frank Welker, who voiced Abu, Raja, and the Cave of Wonders, actually reprises his role as those three in this film, much like James Earl Jones is going to do in the upcoming live-action Lion King. So that's interesting trivia for you. They come back and save the day and grab the lamp from Jafar. Here's where it kind of gets a little in my opinion, because they changed so many great things about the original movie. He turns Iago into this massive, creepy bird. I believe it's called a roc. and he chases him through the city. Instead of just wishing the lamp back, since he's, I don't know, the most powerful sorcerer on planet Earth, he can easily just go, and then the lamp's back to him, but whatever. I guess it looked kind of cool. And so they capture the lamp. They retrieve the lamp, I should say, and Iago gets it back to Jafar. Before all this, I forgot to mention, Jafar is like, you need to marry me or I'm going to kill your father, to Jasmine. And when she gets taken away, she sings a song that's kind of out of place, but I really didn't mind it that much. A lot of people are complaining about it. It's called Speechless. It's basically about, because the entire movie, Jasmine's being silenced, because back in those times, women were silenced and never really had a chance to express their opinions. So that song is basically just about breaking the chains and not being silent anymore. You will hear me, whether you like it or not. And then she convinces the head of the guards, Hakim, played by Numan Akur, to turn on Jafar, even though he's loyal to the Sultan, but he's not loyal to that Sultan. He's only loyal to the true Sultan, which is Jasmine's father. Jasmine also really wants to be Sultan because she thinks she could do so much for Agrabah and all the kingdoms around it. So, back to where I was before all that. It seems like there's really nothing he can do. Jafar is all-powerful. He has the lamp. He has the genie. He's the most powerful sorcerer on planet Earth. But Aladdin taunts him by saying, you're not the most powerful person here. Because Jafar has like this kind of pet peeve of being called second best. Like, it's really annoying to him. And so he's like, I wish to be the most powerful being here. And, genie is, with genies, you always have to be very specific as to what you wish, because not all genies are like the genie from Aladdin. A lot of genies are a-holes and will find loopholes in your wish to make it, not work out for you. So he just wishes that Jafar became a genie. And since genies are never free, like I mentioned before, they always need to be have a master. Jafar is then confined to a lamp, which Genie banishes to the Cave of Wonders. Yeah, everything's great, and the genie's like, yo, so I'm going to help you out. I'm going to keep you a prince, because early on, Aladdin's like, I can't wish this away now. Sorry, I promised I was going to, free you, but I need to keep this persona. I need you here with me, so I can't free you. Sorry. Which then caused Genie to kind of, turn his back on Aladdin, go back into the lamp, which caused him to get stolen, and then back to where we are now. But now Genie's like, all right, let's go. I'll make sure that the rule of royalty can only marry other royalty is just gone. And Aladdin's like, oh, okay, you can do that. But instead of wishing for his own selfish needs, he wishes to free Genie, who then becomes human, and, he and Dahlia can, live a life. Which is then revealed that the opening scene wasn't just Will Smith narrating the story, that's actually the Genie going on a trip with Dahlia and his two kids, explaining the story of how it all came to be. And then, of course, Jasmine becomes Sultan on request by her father, and she marries Aladdin, and they live happily ever after. So how did they get all this so wrong? The one thing I can say about this film is the musical numbers are phenomenal. The cinematography, the graphics, just the animation, everything, the scope. Prince Ali and Friend Like Me are two standouts in my personal opinion. And like I said, Whole New World is just gorgeous. So that's one thing that the movie's got going for it. The musical numbers are so strong. I couldn't wait for the next musical number. Speechless did something really interesting where Jasmine's, I guess it's kind of like inner thoughts, because she's able to do all this amazing choreography and everyone else around her just like disappears. It's just her moment to shine. And Naomi Scott was amazing as Jasmine. She's got such a good voice. Aladdin, however, I'm sorry, dude, but Aladdin is one of the most charming characters in history. And there's just nothing here. I felt none of the charm that makes Aladdin who he is. It felt like such a dry, stale performance that I just couldn't get behind for the entire film, and I really wanted him to do well. But the way he was doing his role, just, I don't know, it didn't work out for me. He's got a great singing voice and all, but acting-wise, no, I didn't feel anything. Will Smith's genie was fine, but there were a couple times where I think they were trying too hard to make him kind of like Robin Williams. There were a couple times where jokes just went on too long. Like when Genie turns Aladdin into Prince Ali, it's literally like a 3-minute joke of him just being like, yo, the genie's on fire! And I'm like, move on. Like, move on. Seriously, this is getting annoying now. But Will Smith did fine. However, Will Smith in genie form looks stupid. Have you seen Polar Express? If you've seen Polar Express, then you've seen the genie in Aladdin. Because I swear, the two are one and the same. They look exactly the same. I even turned to my buddy Diego, who I was watching it with, and I was like, dude, are we watching Polar Express right now? It looks that bad. It looks like the earliest form of mocap, which, you know, Polar Express was one of the pioneers of mocap. It looks like that. And I was like, ew, what is going on here? So again, if you've seen Polar Express, you've seen, you know, Aladdin's genie, Aladdin 2019's genie, without even knowing it. It looks disgusting. I'm sorry, it doesn't look that good. Abu looks alright, Raja looks really good, and the magic carpet is gorgeous, if I'm being honest with you. The design, it looks exactly like the cartoon. And then we have Jafar. You took one of the slimiest, you know, sneakiest, you know, dastardliest villain on planet Earth and turned him into this. He's nasally, he's annoying, he's whiny. It always looks like he's about to burst into tears. He's always like he's like, ew, oh God. And that pet peeve I was talking about where, you know, if you call him like, you know, you're second best here. He literally like loses his shit as if you just like insulted his mother or something. It's, oh God. Jafar is one of my favorite Disney villains on planet Earth. And you took that away from him. He had one of the most, you know, he had like a deep voice, a really deep, like cunning voice. And this guy's like, oh, Aladdin, pleasant to meet you. It's like so high pitched and like whiny and oh God, it's the worst thing ever. Jafar is hands down the worst thing about this film. And really, there's really just nothing to this film that I enjoyed. I don't want you guys to think that I'm like, you know, dedicated to the first one. You know, I can't like anything else because it's not the original. I'm always open to new interpretation. But what you did here was you took the charm out of Aladdin, you took the sliminess out of Jafar, the genie looks like crap, and it's just the only solid performance here was Naomi Scott as Jasmine. That's it. And the musical numbers were great. But everything else, the beginning was dragging so hard for me that I was like, oh my God, I regret spending money on this film. It picked up a bit in the middle. I'll admit that. It picked up a bit in the middle, and the ending is sweet. Like I said, I love the chemistry between Dahlia and the genie. And I like how they had a human genie be kind of like the narrator of the whole thing to his children. But other than that, it is a very lackluster remake of a film that I love so much. And a lot of that is contributed to the fact that you took away character traits that, well, they didn't take away. I'm sorry. I should not blame the writer for that. You casted people who didn't capture the charm of Aladdin, the sneakiness and like just, you know, Jafar's a snake. Literally. And they didn't even have that. They didn't have one of the coolest things ever. Imagine what that would have looked like. Actually, scratch that. It probably wouldn't have looked that great. Because if we had this, I don't think the snake would have looked that good. So you know what? I'm fine with that. And it's not like Jafar's genie looked any better. It looked probably worse than Will Smith's genie. It's just, I don't know. This one didn't strike a chord with me. I really wanted it to, but you know, I'm not a person who's really for all these live-action Disney movies because I feel like they're really unnecessary. I don't let that affect my judgment, but I know going in that I'm already not a fan because I'm not a huge fan of all these remakes. But again, I go in with an open mind to see how it's going to turn out. And this one didn't do it for me. Because Beauty and the Beast was fine, Jungle Book was okay, I didn't really get to see Dumbo, but this one just, I don't know, something was missing. Something was missing that, didn't make me, that made me go like, wow, that was worth seeing, I'll see it again. I'll go back for the musical numbers. Can theaters just release a compilation of all the musical numbers? That would be cool. But other than that, I really don't think I have to see it again, which comes to my, verdict, my score for this movie, which is a 2.5 out of 5 stars. So 2.5 stars out of 5 stars, which is somewhat below average. Nothing special, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It just fails to click on a couple things that made Aladdin Aladdin. It has the scenery, it has the amazing musical numbers, but the characters, 2 of them are just so unfaithful to their originals that, I don't know, I can't really give it any justice for that. So, yeah, that's my review of Aladdin 2019. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are looking forward to my top 10 favorite movies of all time, all their reviews, starting next week, promptly on Sunday. So, yeah, that's what you guys got to look forward to. Remember, you're not going to know what movie it is until you click on the video. And with that, guys, that is a wrap.